This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. We are live in the studio today. Let's make the most of it. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Hi. Oh, I just feel like...
Chicken tonight.
Chicken tonight.
There, you haven't got any lined up for me, have you, as a surprise?
Can be arranged.
I would do the chicken tonight dance, but I'd probably be emanating armpit spores, which were potentially fatal. I can never remember which spores are okay and which spores are the killer spores.
Well,
but hey.
I mean, just to play devil's advocate, very few of them are the killer spores now, aren't they? But anyway.
Oh no, I've accidentally opened up that argument.
Controversy corners started
It's not
already.
controversial, it's just facts. But anyway.
Who'd have thought chicken tonight would take us to
You started it.
coronavirus?
What? Is chicken tonight a sauce?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't
It's
think
a
I
jar.
ever knew that.
I think Ian Wright used to advertise it. That's
Oh, did he?
right.
Did he?
I think I've got an image of Ian Wright flapping his imaginary wings.
It makes me feel like I'm a 20-something because I ate quite a lot of honey and mustard flavoured chicken tonight
Do you?
during my... No, I did.
Oh, you did?
I
Okay.
like
Did
to
Ian
think that my
Wright?
cuisine has progressed a little.
Did Ian Wright get that gig then on the strength of his name? Because...
Chicken to right, you mean?
Yes.
I don't think they use that as a pun. It's a nice idea, though.
Okay, I'm assuming they might have.
What do you mean? Do you think they were looking for Mr. Right for the job? Is that...
I think that Mark Wright they approached.
Maybe.
Christopher Hitchens. Hitchens tonight.
He would have been an interesting advert.
he would have been
chicken.
very
And
good.
Mark Bright, there was just a backup if things went wrong.
And then they had Simon Callow doing an advert called I'm Gonna Read Some Dickens Tonight, and him like flapping a quill. Did Dickens write with a quill? No, he's post-quill.
Is
What
it?
would Dickens
Wasn't
have written
he,
with?
He would have been crossover, definitely, wouldn't he?
What did Dickens write with 8, 12, 15? Keep it clean. Let's just talk, all that stuff. You don't want to believe that. Oh, I have. I should say thank you to our. We've got new sponsors
No.
for the show. Yeah,
Have we? Who's it? Chicken Tonight?
Well, they don't. They asked that they wouldn't be named because they said that they felt
They're
that
ashamed.
pushing the company name is a bit embarrassing, and they preferred to keep a low profile.
Is this
Oh, yeah.
real?
So we're not even gonna. So when you say on Sky Sports, Sure for Men sponsors Sky Sports.
Yeah.
It says proudly sponsors.
That's right.
So we're going to use the word surreptitiously.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't it be great? Obviously it's not true because that's all they care about. But wouldn't it be great if you got a sponsor that said, "I'd rather you didn't mention our name. Find it a bit naff."
Like
You know what I mean?
silent business partner.
Yes, people who are doing it because they care.
Ambient sponsorship. I like the idea of that.
Oh man, if there's a sponsor out there who's thinking, you know what, I want to sponsor someone, but I find it a bit embarrassing, the whole name thing. This is where you need to come. I think we might be one of the last unsponsored shows on Absolute Radio. What does that
reckon?
tell you? It's fine. I'm over it now. I'm just, just thinking it over.
Got an itchy arm there. You
Pardon?
have you got
I
an
have got
itchy
an,
arm?
I have got an itchy arm.
Ferociously scratching that.
Yeah, that's my crossbow arm, and I think I'm using the wrong varnish.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about it. So, what have I been up to this week? I hear you ask. Well, I had my first since the lockdown. I had my first trip to the dentist.
Oh, how were they?
Well, we did a family appointment, which means me, Kath, and Boz have 20 minutes each. So we book an hour, and then we turn up. And then we take it in turns. So we all sat in and talked to each other and sat in the room for the whole time and just took
Oh, in the same.
Oh,
right.
I thought, Al, for a minute it was all at once, like the xylophone player rushing around between the three of you.
That would be very
the sparrow inside the pigeon, inside the pheasant, inside. We're just all sitting on each other's lap.
Yeah.
But there was a bit where Kath was in the chair, and there was like me and Boz was there, and she was in the chair, and Dan the dentist, and Sadie the nurse, all gathered round. And Kath said, "You know what? I'd kill to have perfect teeth." And I thought about it. I said, well, I wouldn't kill a human being. I said, I'll tell you what, let's have a little survey. How big an animal would you kill to have perfect teeth? And I thought, oh, that might be a good texting. What would you?
Get ideas.
I'm not that bothered about perfect teeth, but I'd certainly take out, let's say, a wolf.
A wolf? You'd go as big as.
I'd kill a
Would
wolf.
you?
Interesting.
I don't know if I could go above insect, Frank.
Really?
I've got to be honest.
Perfect
Your teeth are
teeth.
nice, though.
Yeah, come on.
Slug.
One
Slug. I think slug is the lowest of them.
One less horse on the planet, is that going to make so much difference?
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
You've started quite a bleak texting, Frank.
Yes, it was
I'm not
sort of
gonna lie.
I didn't think it would actually happen as a texting.
For anybody that's just joined, where were you? And also, Frank has asked, what's the biggest? What was the question? What's the biggest animal?
What's the biggest animal you'd be prepared to see slaughtered in order to get perfect teeth?
Okay. 729, keeping with the bleak tone, says, I once met a murderer and he had terrible teeth, so it just goes to show it can never be guaranteed. Not worth the risk, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know that it was ever part of the deal for being. I once met a murderer. It's
It's the start of a good
Well,
story.
we
isn't it?
probably
Not-
all have
not a good
without
story.
realising it.
Yeah,
Do
maybe.
you think?
Oh, yeah.
Oh God, I thought they were fairly thin on the ground.
Oh. Well, I think we're safe in this room.
Yes.
Is that the time?
We've also had, in response to that, Ian Wilson has
Wilson.
got in touch. He says, do you have to take that animal's teeth? Good question, Ian.
Oh, that is a
Oh
good
no,
question.
that would be. You can't do that.
What, in a sidebar, not a text-in, but a sidebar to the OG text-in, well, which animal do you think has the best teeth?
Well, I mean, the truth is,
We
it's
need a
the,
definition of best.
yeah. Well, I think we will learn our own aesthetic opinion.
Horse?
No, I'll tell you what's
Crocodiles
got the
have
worst.
3 rows, don't they?
Can I tell you the worst?
What?
Having spent some time in Egypt amongst camels,
Oh,
they've got disgusting teeth. What
Have
are
they
they
really?
up to? Camels.
I didn't even know you'd spent time in Egypt amongst camels.
Oh God! I went on a camel trail in Egypt.
you?
Yeah,
Do they have... I imagine they have a lot of plaque.
they are disgusting. First of all, their teeth come out forward as if when sometimes you're wrestling with a dog. With an object like it's biting toy, and sometimes you pick them up and they're hanging from the biting toy by their teeth. Looks like a camel's done that for 48 hours every week, and their
Yeah.
teeth have come forward, and looks like they've got suntanned.
Oh, yeah, they're sort of at a jotty-outy angle, aren't they?
A lot of them have only got like one eye and stuff.
really?
They
What's wrong with
spit, they
them?
break wind. They are disgusting. I mean, I'd kill one of them just for a filling.
Would you?
No, I wouldn't. Of course,
Do you know,
I
it's
wouldn't.
because I think they have such physical presence. It's almost as if they think, we don't have to worry about these personal grooming things.
Yeah,
the rest
but-
of you get out.
Yeah, I think it's like Steven Spielberg syndrome. If you're famous enough, you can look like rubbish.
Right, yeah.
I think there is.
545 has said, Frank, I'd go for the biggest non-endangered animal. Gary.
That's
Got ourselves a do-gooder here, everyone.
No, I think what we've got there is someone who's taken the via media. They thought, well, I'm prepared to kill an animal, but let's be sensible about it. I think I like that. It's not an extremist, this guy.
Yeah.
Respect to Mondo.
A lot of people are accusing us of an accidental partridge
Oh, what's that?
because Because of our texting. But that's
Oh.
the point, you see.
I would say that people that say accidental partridge are people I would put in a category of their own, which I'm not prepared to name because I like people to join in. I mean, it's 50 pence a text. Let's not knock it back.
Sean McFarlane,
Ooh.
Frank, says sloths. Could do that in my pyjamas.
Oh dear. I honestly never thought this would be a texting. Well,
Yeah.
speaking of texting, what is sweet and sour sauce made out of?
Oh, that's a good one.
What is it?
Lovely question.
Was there a time, did it begin as there was two sauces? There was sweet sauce
Right.
and sour sauce. And then they amalgamated.
Well, Alun, over to you.
I think it's worth letting the people decide this.
Well,
8,
I'll
12,
tell you
15.
something, and this is absolutely true. The first time I ever went to a restaurant in my life, our Keith took me. I was 14, and I had sweet and sour chicken balls, not just chicken, but in batter.
The battered balls.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how good it was. Oh man, it absolutely blew my mind. And I went to a Chinese place, a takeaway actually, week before last, and I still had sweet and sour chicken balls. I've never found a better meal than that.
Really?
I started at the absolute top. But I still don't know what sweet and sour is made out of. If you do, 8, 12, 15. And if you know the history of it, better still.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I asked. This was a genuine question as well. Can I say on the sweet and sour front, I don't even have the slightest idea what's in it. I couldn't tell you what the base of it is. Anything. It's a taste which to me is as individual as Oscar Wilde. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
We've had...
I don't mean the taste of Oscar Wilde.
Emily and I know the rough ingredients of sweet and sour sauce
Yeah.
now because we spent the last song reading 50 different versions of it that
I
have
mean,
come through the text.
they've been coming. These
Oh,
sweet and
thank
sours
you
in
for
their
that.
droves.
Yeah.
I'll kick off with 818. It's sugar, black vinegar, corn flour, soy sauce, red food colouring.
Really, that's it.
Well, there's other options are available. Al, over to you.
Yeah, some mischief makers, Neil and Francesca, have said, I reckon it's jelly babies and vinegar. I mean, that's just not
No,
likely
but you
to
know
be
what?
true.
Silly
that
Billies.
to me, I can sort of feel that more than I can feel the other ingredients. If you mix, it'd be worth trying. I don't know if you could melt jelly babies. Is that? And
Yeah.
also, I think I might get a big guilt thing about it, like when I
I
text
think it's
Buzzy's
unlikely
teddy
given
bear.
your earlier
Oh, I-
texting.
Yeah.
Well, what about coral from Cheltenham?
I thought he was going to say included coral.
No, I don't think that melts down that easily.
Also, the colour goes when you take it out the sea. It's
Oh,
no longer got
lovely.
that lovely orange tinge.
Coral from Cheltenham. What a great moniker. that is.
Coral from Cheltenham. I worked in a Chinese takeaway. I should say the emphasis differently. I worked in a Chinese takeaway. The main ingredients of sweet and sour sauce are, you ready, Frank?
Yeah.
White vinegar. Okay, yeah, I'll have that.
Yeah.
Oranges.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I can taste that.
Okay, well, see if you can taste this. Soy sauce.
Yeah, of course.
Few spices. Finally, Robinson's orange squash.
You are oranges and Robins. Has she got mixed up with the formula for orange juice?
That's a
She,
good question.
No,
Coral, knows whereof she speaks.
but you know what? I would never, ever try and make my own.
You wouldn't?
No, because if I made a duff one, I just would
yeah.
feel that I had. It's like
Crestfallen, would you?
It
It's
would
like I
ruin the
never-
dish
you know,
forever.
I do a poetry podcast, but I would never write poetry, because
All
I
right.
would be slightly disgusted and disappointed by my own efforts.
Can I bring to your attention a text message from 775 who says pineapple is the secret ingredient?
Well, you do get bits of pineapple.
Yeah, it's
in
not a
it.
secret.
There's
There's big
no
lumps of
denying
it.
You can see them.
What bit of it is secret? It's
must
hiding in
be.
plain sight.
In the pineapple world, though, there must be a bit of status to being in, at the lower end.
Showing off to the oranges.
You know those people who live on gammon. They're at the lower end, but we're with the sweet and sour people. Very nice.
It's hardly a stealth fruit. It's yellow, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, it's very distinctive.
We've had so much sweet and
Well,
sour
thank you so-
correspondence, but
Thank you for that. That's great.
Frank, we've also had some correspondence related. Do you remember you were asking about the animals that people
yeah.
would?
I felt bad about that now.
Do you?
Can I say killing animals is bad? So we're hypothetically speaking. Carry on.
It is. However, Jamie Brightwell has said, I'd be confident in taking down an old sheep.
Yeah. To have
Not
perfect
sure I
teeth.
would.
Well, you
Yeah.
wouldn't do it, Al.
Oh, no.
For perfect teeth.
Me personally, I've been in the fields with sheep, and they're big units, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
It's not like a whippet or
But
something.
think when you look next time you look in the mirror and the teeth are absolutely spick and span.
I would like that. yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
no pain forever. Never have to go to the dentist again. You just know that.
Frank's like the devil on my shoulder about my teeth. I never expected that this
Really
morning.
is.
Oh, God, I should have said this to that camel.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Yeah, we were just talking about posh restaurants off air. We feel self-conscious talking about it on air in case people feel alienated in any. But you'll be glad to know that they are rubbish in many ways, posh restaurants. You cannot get sweet and sour chicken balls. You can get chicken, sweet and sour, but they will not batter them. And for me, when you bite into the chicken ball, you think your teeth are thinking, my teeth are not perfect because I'm a pacifist. You think that it's not crunchy batter, it's a sort of doughy. Oh, this is
Yeah.
a soft, and then there's a sudden out of nowhere texture change when you hit chicken, and so you go, oh man.
You go through a lot of complex emotions biting through the chicken ball.
I tell you, I'm not joking. I've never ever improved on sweet and sour chicken balls and with boiled rice as a meal. It's perfect. Whoever invented that, respect to Mondo times 2.
Can we put that in the late review compilation that we're working on?
I think we can. Sorry. No, Alan, please.
We've actually had a missive in also on the subject of animals from a chap who says, your chat about feeding the alligators last week reminded me of a time we saw this up close. We were on a swamp tour just outside New Orleans.
Swamp tour?
Yeah. When the guy running it stopped the boat and started to throw marshmallows into the water. They'd barely touched the surface when an alligator would literally snap them up. There were at least half a dozen circling the boat.
Oh, wow.
Captain Bob
Captain Bob
then asked us if anyone would like to hand feed one. Everyone looked at the floor except my wife Tina, who bravely raised her hand and said he'll do it while pointing at me.
I love Tina.
Captain Bob then got me to shuffle out onto something that looked very much like a plank and hold a chicken wing out at arm's length. He then said, don't worry about the height, they're able to get up this far, which wasn't as reassuring as he meant it to be. When I asked him if he had any further advice, he said, yes, don't forget to let go. Turns out that part of the process is pretty instinctive anyway, so I can definitely confirm Frank is correct about them leaping up from the water to quite a height. Something to remember if you're pointed to anything outside of the boat. Keep up your contractually obliged duties. That's Eddie from Coulsdon.
Okay. Oh, I'd like to live in Coulsdon.
Would you?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
That's like, you know that bit in Pulp
Because I'd read
Fiction?
it, I was seeing the spelling rather than...
But you know in Pulp Fiction when he says, okay, that's Cool and the Gang or something like that, it's just a way of saying cool.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to start saying now, okay, Coulsdon.
Are you?
Yeah, that is a thing I'm going to start saying.
Okay.
Are you? Oh.
Looking forward to that.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
So if I came in and I said, oh, well, I'm going to go to that gig on Tuesday, you're going to come with?
I go, yeah, Coulsdon. You'll see. It'll catch on.
I think it will.
Everyone will
I mean,
be
a lot
saying
that
it.
you say does catch on.
Oh, man. I tell you how I'm feeling. I've got that sort of surge of adrenaline. You know, when you do something that makes you feel, you know what, empowered. You feel, I have stood up and been counted.
Oh, yeah.
Like when, for me, I haven't done this many times, but it really makes me think, like, you know what? If I want something, I will go out and, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone, I will go out and get it. I don't care what other people think of me. It's when I've opened the window on a bus.
Ooh.
I just got up and opened the window and sit down and think, yes, that is the kind of person I am.
Good for
if
you.
I want the window open, yeah, okay, you stared at me. You're thinking, look at that bloke opening the windows.
Very
Didn't
good.
I? Oh, man. What makes you feel super empowered, 8, 12, 15?
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
You mentioned before we went to that brief musical interlude, you talked about how you'd opened a window on a bus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate it's not the most revolutionary bus story up there in terms
but
of
it
making a
is.
statement.
But it's
However,
about- I have
had a
sat-
lot of respect for that because
Can I say
I've never done it.
I've sat on buses and thought, oh, it's a bit stuffy, and looked at the window and thought, oh, these people are all thinking, look at this. Who does he think he is? And I haven't opened it. And I've made up my mind I'm not going to be that person anymore.
Well, I've got a confession, Frank. I don't think I've ever done it.
Wow.
Never.
Have you ever been on a bus then?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Alan.
See, I thought your story was I went on a bus once and I had to open every window immediately.
I love buses.
Yes.
Yes.
Not so much at the moment, but I used to.
No.
Yeah. It's just a lot. I think things like that when, when you say, excuse me, but this is a dirty fork. I'd like a clean one. It's only a little victory in life.
Mm-hmm.
But some people can't do it.
I heard someone returning something in a coffee shop the other day, and they said, I really don't want to be that person. And I thought, you are.
Yeah.
You definitely are being that person.
I do want to be that person. But there you are, you see. What you thought about them, that's the sort of thing that people think when you do something.
That she was being dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you thought, "Ugh."
Yeah.
And that's what people think, oh,
I'm afraid I
shut
did.
up.
Yeah.
So you say, excuse me, but this steak tastes of urine. And people are thinking, oh, shut up.
Stop going on about it.
Who do people think they are? I mean, it's that. No, we're not together on it at all.
No.
Anyway, I would like to know what actions make other people feel empowered in
Well-
that same way. I'm glad I did that.
Al031 has one.
I haven't seen
She-
that.
Well, don't
Oh,
worry,
yeah.
I'm across it. Forgetting a £1 coin and using my front door key for a trolley at the supermarket.
I didn't even know.
Lack of change won't stop me.
Well, you can do that. You put a key in.
I know.
You don't want to... Oh.
Al has lit up like a
Oh, my
Christmas tree.
What? So I can
You
get
can do
free
what?
trolleys now.
You do get it back, don't you, the pound?
Yeah, but
No, I
I don't always
haven't.
have a pound.
The smile on that man, I'm blinded. It's like a camel.
Can I say Absolute Radio do not approve of people using the key instead of the
I
coin?
don't know that.
No, I'm guessing.
Okay.
You might need
I
to
haven't
run
got
past
the manual with me. It's been wiped outside.
Oh, Dan, what about this one, Al? Dan Bauer. He loves you, Frank. Frank, I love the fact that a high-profile celebrity such as yourself is humble enough to travel on a bus still. Man of the people.
Yeah, it's to do with having a over 60s travel card and being a bit, it's about time I got something back for all the tax I've paid is the darker motivation.
It's a nice thing to say, though, Dan.
It is, I think I
Yeah.
appreciate that, Dan. Drink
something
the
of a-
long draft, Dan, for the hip priest.
Something of a subject change. 700 has answered your question. I would guess Dickens wrote with a pen you had to dip in ink.
Yes.
Typewriters were available in his lifetime.
Were they?
I think it was Huckleberry Finn that was the first book composed on typewriter.
That is a very good. It's the first.
That's a very strange tone you've taken.
No, I didn't know where
Never
that.
heard you speak like that before.
I don't know where that tone came from. I didn't. I hope that never happens again. And all I said was, that was a very good.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it
like
can
that.
be applied to so many things.
Oh, I mean, I could
Just
do
want
it.
some voiceover work. I think that's what he's
I could
after.
do a thesis on just analysing the peaks and troughs of that.
Yeah. Well, it's mainly just very growly, wasn't it? It was. I'm not sure about it. I tell you, it sounded a bit like, who's that presenter that does Home is Where the Art Is? Nick
Nick Knowles.
Yeah, Nick Knowles. It's a bit Knowlesian. Remember, there's clips of him singing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what he sung, but I imagine I know what his karaoke song is. I'm going to guess Mustang Sally.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking Big Bad Leroy Brown. Is that what it's called? Big Bad. Oh, man, yeah. Stop it, Nick. Get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This, however, is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. A lot of people have this morning, which is always great. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Can I just say I've eaten some... it was the producer, Sarah. It was her birthday yesterday. Mm-hmm. I phoned her, I think, 3 times yesterday.
Oh, how lovely, Frank. That's thoughtful.
Yeah, having completely no reference to her birthday. So I thought it was tomorrow. Oh, so every time she must have thought, oh, I bet this is Frank.
That's nice.
He's asking me how to convert to MP3 on GarageBand.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. So sorry about that.
Oh, you're
Sarah.
doing some of your Mustang Sally cover versions.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I've got my own album coming out. Frank Skinner sings the Cranberries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a cystitis benefit thing. And our assistant producer, Faye, is a fabulous bakerist.
Yeah.
And so she's made a brilliant cake. One of those cakes that comes from an era when people didn't worry about their weight or health.
Yeah,
They just
it's
said
so
cake
true.
and to hell with it.
She really would. Paul Hollywood would be all over her.
It's
Well,
a very...
I think that would have been a handshake, I think.
it's a very Harold Macmillan, you've never had it so good cake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah.
Have
Have you done all your business now?
Yeah, well, I think,
Lovely.
Yeah.
So we've had all sorts of responses, Frank, to your text-ins this morning. Ultra Magnus, he says, I feel empowered. This is in reference to your opening the bus window. I feel empowered by using my degree in engineering to explain to people on the bus that opening the window directly above them will benefit them little. But it will massively inconvenience the guy 3 seats behind them. Oh, Ultra.
Wow. What he's talking about there is trajectory.
Yeah.
I mean, no one, and I don't think we should go into this on air because it'd be too complicated, but I have never worked never worked out, rather. If I'm on a train zooming and I'm sitting the right, like facing the engine, and I throw, let's say, a sweet and sour chicken ball in the air, I don't understand why it doesn't hit me in the face.
You in those
Because
chicken balls.
once it's free of my grip, why doesn't my face on the train go straight into it?
Oh, yeah.
Is this a thing you try often, or is it? Surely it would, wouldn't it?
I don't even... No, it wouldn't.
It doesn't.
It's like the train is its own little world where...
So the gravity is within train, you think?
Well, it's not so much gravity. It's that if we went outside and I threw an orange in the air and then I ran forward, I might well run into it on the way down. It doesn't work on a train.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Can I tell you who I have ultimate respect for? Are those people. You know, when you're on the tube. Yes, it's not a bit of observational comedy you ever expected from me, know, when you're on the tube, but let's give it a go. You know when you're on the tube and there's that rattling noise and the window is pushed very far down. There's a lot of noise and too much wind blowing in. The people that get up and slam shut that window, they're leaders. I mean, that's like the head of the British Army level for me.
I don't know if I've ever even seen that. I mean, you know that bit when you're listening to like an audio book? I'm sorry for people who don't live in London, but the tube, you get the sense of
Get
it.
on the train, yeah.
And it suddenly goes really loud on the tube and you can't hear your audio. That is very inconvenient. There's no other word for it.
Yeah.
But, well, there probably is other words for it. I don't want Roger texted in and says, actually, there's 9 other words that would have worked perfectly well. You know what a know-all Roger is?
Yeah.
And then he'd probably say, OK, Roger and out, he would have probably said. Who is Roger?
Or Roger that. Like
Yeah.
a pun on Roger that.
Yeah,
Roger.
exactly.
Was it his surname, Roger?
Yeah.
Oh, it'll have been...
I thought he had pretentious parents, sort of North London parents.
He's called
Roger.
Martin Roger, I think he's called.
He was. Martin Roger.
Oh, man. People don't even buy the thesaurus sales of hard copy thesauruses. That must have dropped like a stone.
There's got to be an app for that now.
That must have dropped like a stone or a lead weight
Yes.
or a brick.
Anchor.
All right, Roger. Is that what he was like at school? It's going to go to the toilet. You mean the cubicle, the
Literally.
WC? Roger! Shut up about it. I imagine he's French. No, but really, as far as somebody beautiful lads, yeah. Do you want a punch in the face? You mean the visage?
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Just before we continue, I'd like to read a text from 376, and I see this as something of a civic duty. We were talking about when you've forgotten £1 for your shopping trolley moments ago, and someone said that they could use that door key.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. 376 has said, my personalised coin got stuck in a trolley, so an assistant gave me the corned beef tin key, which works just as well.
Wow.
Like I say, I see this show as civic duty sometimes.
Can I ask you, do they still have those tins with the key and the unwrap? That's still a thing.
It's still a thing, and it's
That seems like
still a thing in my actual life. I eat corned beef reasonably.
Also, I eat corned beef, but I get it in like a plastic thing.
Here's a question.
Sorry
Why
about that.
spam and, I believe, corned beef? Why did they stick to the slightly hexagonal design? No other product comes like that. Normally it's round.
That's a good point. And also, sometimes the tin can really throw you off what the actual shape of the creature is. Like a lot of people don't realise. Like a lot of people don't realise that tuna are massive because tin tuna's little.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine getting a tin that's in the shape of a tuna. That'd be so impractical.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I think everything should be in the shape of what the creature was.
That's a good idea.
Beef, corned beef with a big can.
Yeah, it'd be very...
I just buy beef and then I corn it myself.
Do you?
Yeah.
How does that go?
Don't know.
Really slowly.
I tell you what would require a lot of work: the crab paste.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the detail on those claws.
No, yeah,
That would be hard to
like
make
buying a
in tin.
transformer. That'd be too much.
Also, I'm not sure tin openers would manage around those sharp, pointy
Take
bits.
too long,
would
Al.
they?
You need to get one of those fairground things.
I see what I like about I haven't bought tinned corned beef for a while, but what I like about it is they don't like a sharp corner, do they?
No.
They round off the corners.
Very much like
on there.
Modern motor vehicle, if you like.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it's a safety thing, but it's very. You feel that you could, if you could roll it down a slope.
Quite ergonomic, you're right.
Yeah, I don't know what ergonomic means, but I'm going with it.
Well, let's go with it.
Well, it was working for me, can I say, Al?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't me wrong. I'm Coulsdon about it.
So I've had a bit
Frank,
of a
please, I'm going to really struggle. As a dear friend of yours, I'm really going to struggle quite a bit with Coulsdon.
Coulston's working.
Give it a chance.
I know, but he's going to say it in front of someone quite cool, like a musician. He's going to think, I
probably.
know. I'll throw in, who will we be talking to, Frank? You'll meet someone.
Someone cool, like Noel Fielding or something. He'll go, oh, yeah, Coulsdon.
Oh, no, I'm thinking he'll say it in front of Jay-Z or something.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I'd be
that-
like,
Yeah, and the next thing then you know, it'll be in a trap. Feeling Coulsdon, wake up tonight, gonna go down. Exactly, it's going to be like that, and everyone will be talking about it. And of course, my part of it will be forgotten. Everyone will think, oh, that's that thing that Jay-Z came up with.
Yeah.
Alan.
Okay. Alan.
I've had a busy week for the first time in like 6-7 months.
Do you mean work busy?
Yeah. I've been doing this job once a week since we've been back, and then it's just been, that's it.
It's a hard time for the comedy community.
Very hard time. A lot of people saying the comedy industry has been forgotten, but I've suddenly had stuff to do. I did a Zoom gig on Wednesday. I did a Zoom BBC thing on Thursday. I've got this, and I've got a live gig tonight. I've started wearing clothes again.
That is a
And
moment.
not just boxer shorts, I mean the whole lot.
No,
Started putting it all back on.
Obviously, the coronavirus is essentially a negative thing that's happened, but I've saved a fortune on contact lenses because I just couldn't be bothered to put them in. I've just worn my spectacles, and now I've got a backlog, and I find myself thinking, well, not bad, not bad. Usually, I've had to top them up again, but here they are, 3 boxes.
Lovely.
3 boxes. And which eye do you think I favour? Left or right? No, forget it. Don't text in on that. That would be awful. Well, I'm excited to hear more about this. Work. We never talk about work anymore.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
224 has said, Frank, I'd be prepared to kill any amount of seagulls for even mildly reasonable teeth. I'd use a machine gun.
What?
That's what they're saying.
I suppose if you're
Maybe
gonna,
they live by the seaside
A
and
little
hate
bit.
seagulls.
Now you're just getting nasty.
if you're shooting them in flight, at least you're not going to hit anyone else. I suppose.
Well, they could then hit. It could be like
I-
a trick shot in snooker.
Yeah, cannon.
Yeah,
Seagull cannon.
yeah.
I like a clean kill. Let's keep the party polite.
Seagull cannon, I've decided, is going to be the main character in my next short story.
Oh, good.
Right.
Good. So
Can
we're
I-
discussing me. Oh, go on. What were you going to say?
No, just briefly,
A
if
message.
Steve Burgess could just interject, just in relation to adding to Frank's empowerment theme, reopening the window on the bus. I feel empowered stopping on amber and actually setting off on green. You feel the hatred coming through the rear window.
Yeah.
Lovely.
But what about that? Yeah, that is a
Steve
thing.
Burgess.
That's a thing to do.
Don't be an amber gambler. Is that the?
That's so...
Yeah, don't be an amber gambler. God,
That's what they used to say.
Oh,
I'd
that's so
forgotten about
you.
that.
That's
very
peak
much.
Alun, that moment.
Thank you. So I've been.
That'd be a great thing, wouldn't it, to say to, I don't know, somebody like Katie Price if you're in Las Vegas because of their crazy skin colouring. Hey, come on, don't be an amber gambler. Just do.
Yeah. Bit
I remember
further on, and you'll get teak.
I did
Yeah.
that Let's Dance for Comic Relief thing, and she, as a judge, and she was there looking incredibly orange. I've always really liked Katie Price, and I said, "You've been on your holidays?" She said, "No." I thought I really enjoyed it as a question. Anyway,
So in lockdown, as I think I aired on the show, I've probably been commando maybe 97-98% of the time.
you're joking.
Oh, I would say at least, and then occasionally I'll box a short up for I don't know, a food shop or something like that. For some reason, I felt the need to wear underwear to
No,
the
I
food
think that's
shop.
right in a food shop.
But I've now realised that I've spent probably about that, like 98% of the time, in shorts or tracksuit bottoms around the house, and it feels a bit insincere to start wearing jeans to things when it's clearly not the real me. But I still have been wearing denim to come to this show. So I did a Radio 4 thing from my home on Zoom in tracksuit bottoms and a hoodie, which is very dressed down for me. I just...
What was it
Is
about
this a-
hip hop?
It's the news quiz.
Oh, okay.
It's really jarring, actually, to wear a trackie. I mean, I wouldn't do that for a live gig.
No.
Is this either more sincere or less professional? I think that's what we have to put on each side of the seesaw.
Well, I've got a sort of a dilemma, because I think I'm doing my first on Monday. I'm doing my first thing when I actually on camera for a while,
Right.
and it's only it's not like a major thing, but it's the first time my lockdown haircut, which is a bit. I know it's a bit like Aubrey Beardsley on a desert island look.
Yeah.
So I've just been shaving
the
sides.
references really wide appeal.
Oh, sorry.
Aubrey
Well, how would
Beardsley.
you? Sorry. It's just I've gone back to a centre parting accidentally. Because if you let your hair grow long, a centre parting actually has to happen. Otherwise, you'll just be Don King. You just keep going upwards.
I mean, you could put some product in for the day.
I could. But what do you? I mean, you guys haven't mentioned
my
it.
voice is getting higher as I'm suggesting it. I noticed.
Sometimes there's a bit of muttering when I come in the room that stops suddenly.
Do you just keep hearing the word CAD file really quietly?
Yeah. And also, and I know people hate you when you say this, but my cleaner, she walks into the room and just burst out laughing. I said, what you laughing at? She said, I've just never seen hair like that. This is my cleaner. So I have really gone through, and when I took back my kid back to school, a lot of the parents just didn't recognise me. You know, I hate that more than anything. So
it feels like if we're going to be honest here, I know you're a fan of Frank. I thought it was a conscious decision towards a sort of Shaun Ryder Happy Mondays look.
Okay.
Is that not the case?
I haven't gelled it or anything. It's like I've gone a bit Neil Gaiman. And maybe I'll put a picture up and get it out my system. But I think the time has maybe come. I just haven't braved the barbers, you know. But I looked in the mirror the other day and I thought, oh, it's like if the Small Faces was to go back on tour now, being called the Old Faces.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Boys, I would like to talk to you about something rather extraordinary that's emerged this week. Have you seen the letters? The letters that have come to light in this new book revealing the romance between KJ and Donald.
DJT. Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, very good now. DJT and KJ.
Is he what's the J for in?
Kim Jong.
No, in Trump.
Oh, Donald. Let's guess that, I'm sure.
I knew, funnily enough, I knew Kim Jong-un's middle name. I think I've heard that before somewhere.
It's Un his first name. No, Donald. Oh, it's got to be.
When he gets letters from the West,
KJ.
Yeah, do they say KJ Un? Mr. KJ Un? Because if there's a local Cajun restaurant, you can imagine there being confusion there and them getting a lot of his mail.
I've not seen much about the North Korean Cajun restaurant scene.
But if you have got a Cajun, imagine you're at the Cajun restaurant, there's a knock on the living quarters door, and Kim Jong-un is saying, "Have you had an Amazon package come here for KJ Un?"
Luckily, Kim Jong-un is very laid back about things like that, so I can't imagine there'd be an issue.
They're being called love letters, aren't they? They're being called love letters, these, between the two of them, which...
Well, I mean, have you seen them? There are 27 of them. They were, rather brilliantly, it was Bob Woodward who uncovered them.
Mm-hmm.
Hypocrite.
Yes.
Well, Bob Woodward
Absolutely.
was the guy who exposed the fact that Nixon was wiretapping and sending people into the Democratic headquarters to photograph documents. But these are private letters that Bob Woodward has based a book on.
Yes.
I mean, physician, heal thyself, I would say to Bob Woodward.
I believe
Glad to hear it, Frank.
it's emerged
Not
that
enough people in the media stick up for Donald J. Trump.
I wouldn't say I was exactly sticking up for Donald J.
DJT, it's emerged, did have several conversations with Bob, which I think he might be trying to deny now with the letters. It's all got a bit orcs. But did you see this? Before we get to the letters, he has...
Just one moment. It's got to be the same moment. Go on, carry on.
There were quite a few where he said, apparently during a phone call, Donald J. Trump, which I'm now going to call him that all the time, Donald J. Trump was heard saying to Melania, honey, I'm talking to Bob Woodward. And I love the idea of her going, oh my God!
Yeah, her saying who?
Was he in the Equalizer? No, not that one.
Not the one married to the one in the Liver Bird. And he also said he wanted to do the book, but he wanted to read the book out of curiosity and to see if he could write good.
Oh, okay. Now, look, one of the things I read that was quoted from the conversation between the writer and Donald J. Trump was that the writer said, I've obtained these letters. They were written by Cajun to you. And Donald Trump said, well, look, don't get mocking Kim. And he said, this is the quote. He said, I don't want to end up in a nuclear war because you mocked Kim. Well, that made me feel a lot safer about the world. Wow! So Kim says, and then just presses the button. But the fact the President of America is thinking that that's a possibility.
Yeah.
You mock Kim and the next thing you know, you're a shadow on a brick wall.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We've had a correction come in from 879.
Yes, I was reaching for I can't find my jingles anymore.
Come on. Can you sing it,
We've all
maybe?
had nights like this.
Okay.
Oh.
Correczioni, ole, ole, ole.
Morning, Frank, the Divine Miss M and Alun. Just a little correction, if I may. Edward Woodward's wife is Michelle Dutrice. Is it Dutrice? That's how we pronounce it.
Yes, that's
Absolute-
correct. Betty.
Yes.
Who wasn't in the Liver Birds.
You're
She was
so
indeed
right.
Betty Spencer, Frank Spencer's long-suffering wife from Some Mothers Do Have 'Em.
Yeah.
And then there's some praise that I won't read.
That's from Angie. And
What, for some others do have them?
No, for us.
Angie, can I say, very well corrected. That's
Yeah.
exactly the kind of correczione I like to receive.
And I
Really
think which Latrice was she,
And
Michelle?
I apologise. Yes.
You apologise.
Well, I do. I feel like
Wow.
I wish it were, I mean, because that's the sort of thing I'm very hot on. Frank will understand.
No, I mean, that was a good correction.
Thank you for that.
Well played.
Yeah.
Thank you, Angie.
Emily
I
would
bel-
like to say she's sorry she did a whoopsie.
On the carpet.
Spencer, will you just leave?
Frank, that would have been a great part for you. The angry bank manager and Frank Spencer.
Steve Coogan used to go on about how they got rep actors in going, Mr. Spencer, really over, absolutely playing it up.
Scenery chewers.
What? Yeah, which Latrice was it? Michelle.
Michelle, and the father was Roy Dutrice,
Yes,
was it?
but there was wasn't the sister the girl in Mary Poppins?
Oh, this is
now,
like
yeah,
IMDb has
it's
come to
getting-
life being in here.
exactly.
Can we just,
With you two.
just to
I
draw...
IMDb. I look it up, and it's always just a mess. It's difficult to work with.
Oh, I'm really
Work
glad
with.
to hear you have a weird hatred for stuff.
Sorry, when you say
When-
work with, what sort of work are you doing
So,
with it?
just to find stuff out, it's one of the worst websites.
I hate pop-up shops.
Do you?
Yeah.
Depends
What do you hate? 8, 12, 15?
No,
don't
that's
do that.
I know
that's
what
too
you mean
negative.
about IMDb, Frank.
What if I want to know who's in a film or whatever? I avoid that one because I always get. I tell you what, I get a feeling. You know, there are websites where if you've paid, you get a much better version of it.
Yeah.
I
IMDb Pro.
really feel like I'm getting the the tradesman's entrance to IMDb. And also, I can never remember the order of the letters, IDMB and all. I hate it. I'll be glad when... I was hoping that the coronavirus thing, that might be one of the companies it took down. But of course, it's an online thing. But what an awful organisation that is.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
This is...
Crisp mouth.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I apologise to you all.
Okay.
I just... Anyway, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, and email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
I'll read you a text message that we've had from 523. IMDb is owned by Amazon, so it's probably not going anywhere anytime soon, Frank. However, as a UI, brackets, user interface designer, I have to agree with Frank. Horrible website to navigate.
Thank you. That's from a professional.
Mash in Valencia. Another late review, I feel, but
I'm guessing, as I say, that it's not the main. It's the, if you paid, it probably got better.
IMDb Pro, yeah.
It's got a. You know what I suspect might be the case? In-app purchases.
Oh, yeah.
I think there might be a bit of that going on.
And 166 has texted, somewhat overstating it, I think. Amazing fact. Michelle Dutrice is from Cleethorpes. Dave in deepest, darkest Cumbria, I'm not sure. None of you look amazed.
I like Cleethorpes. There used to be a thing hanging up there, which was like, you know, seasides always used to have like lights hanging up with things on. But it was a crescent moon with a couple of 50s sweethearts sitting on it. It's really beautiful. I'd love to know if it's still there, actually.
Frank, we've had some tweets in as well, just to let you know what the Twitter community is saying.
The Twitterati?
Airy
Twitterdom
says...
Twitsville.
All right, Dad. Airy...
Twitter City, USA. Oh, man. Oh, Coulsdon. Let's hear it. Oh, man. What are they saying on there?
On Twitsville, Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly.
Airy said... Sometimes I remember Coulsdon. I forget, and then I remember. Airy has been in touch to say... You can just Google a film and get the info. No one uses IMDb anymore.
Well, good news.
Good point.
Yeah, but all right. All right. So I can imagine then he leaves the room and everybody goes, God, what's wrong with him?
I'm not sure how we got to IMDb and Frank Spencer from Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un's love letters.
Also,
but
can I just
the joy of this show. Yes.
Can I quickly share with you? I mean, let me know if you think it's all right to say this to Frank. But there have been a lot of comments re your hair, Frank.
Yes, I put my Aubrey Beardsley up on social media.
We've all done it, love.
My hair has. I've just let it grow since coronavirus started in this country.
Haven't you been shaving it yourself on the sides?
My son clips the sides, but he hasn't touched the top, so the top now has lapsed into a Beardsley.
You've really misheard lyrics on that Frozen song. Nell says salons have been open for some time now, and you know what's hurtful about that is the little ellipsis, little ... there. What's not been said in that?
Yeah.
We've also had some comparisons.
Okay.
Similar style to Sally off Corrie.
Oh.
Are you familiar with her work?
Well, I haven't watched Corrie for a long time.
I think she was on it a long time ago.
Oh,
Okay.
is it
Sally
Lindsay?
with Kevin.
Oh, that one.
Sally?
Oh, I always thought she was
Just quite
I'm
a
gonna
Bill
say it.
Strasser.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
David Lynch.
Can you still say that? David Lynch. He's got a nerve talking about
I think
hair.
they might be comparing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought my hair had gone a bit David Lynch when I cut the sides of mine.
They call a clown, they call the Sandman.
David Lynch says, I didn't know New Romantic was back in, Frank.
No.
Oh, it is David. I thought it was somebody comparing it to David Lynch.
Mr. Guinness, how is Annie Lennox? Average says, Ellen, question mark.
Ellen as in DeGeneres?
Yes.
Oh, I always thought she was beautiful as well. Not on
There
the
you
inside,
go, yeah.
sounds like.
And then finally, Neil M. A bit Julian Assange.
He's got a cheek after the hair he had in Man Behaving Badly.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So we're talking about KJ and DJT,
Wow.
who've been
Kim
exchanging...
Jong-un and Donald J. Trump, for anybody that's just joining.
They've been exchanging... There's no easy way to say this. They're love letters, essentially. I mean, some of the extracts...
I did wonder if there was doodles on proper love letters. You know, people doodle a love heart and then maybe Kim Jong-un just sends back like a missile just doodled in the margin.
Or a compilation tape.
A
Came along with
mixtape,
it.
a lovely mixtape.
Oh, that
What
be
about...
great.
I'll tell you what they used to do as well. A boy I dated briefly, and he was at boarding school... another one of my relatable anecdotes. Okay, I appreciate that. Doesn't sound great. But he would send me letters from rugby, I think it was, and he would spray it with Kuros aftershave.
That's nice.
I could have done without that pause. That has made me chest tighten. Okay. Yeah, well, that's a lovely story. No,
I think it was Kuros.
So honestly, these letters, in case you haven't seen them, so Kim Jong-un says things. I remember when I held your hand in Saigon.
Yeah.
And if I could feel the specialness of the moment. I mean, it's really... I think it's probably about... I remember during the Gulf War, obviously it was a terrible thing, but there was some fabulous vocabulary from the opposite side. And they talk in a very poetic way, I think, in Arabic countries. And I wonder if the Koreans, if this over effusiveness is part of the, you know... I know he
cultural
killed.
thing.
I know he killed his uncle with a firing squad that included anti-aircraft weapons.
I know that wasn't.
Yeah.
Listen, that wasn't a good day.
No,
in his.
but I don't want to mock him, of course.
Apparently, Trump claims that he told him about that.
Yeah, told him in detail.
What he actually said, Frank, the thing that I was struck by is he said, "I cannot forget that moment of history when I firmly held Your Excellency's hand." At that beautiful and sacred location as the whole world watched with great interest.
Wow.
I think we'll be the judge of that, KJ.
That is...
and hope to relive the honour of that day. What I was struck by is the use of Your Excellency. I understand that KJ might like to be referred to in that way.
Yeah.
It's not something we often do. I mean, the only people I've ever heard addressing people with that term is... well, it's your lot, Frank. It's the Catholics.
The Excellency?
Well, I've heard it with regards to the Pope, and I've heard sort of Doctor Who villains say it to intergalactic warlords. Excellency.
Yeah. It's also got a bit of Ferrero Rocher about it, hasn't it? Yeah, it's... also, I can't help thinking of the very tiny hands of Donald Trump that he was holding, like a tiny... Like the big hands on the little hand, like a tiny, tiny Trump hand. I've often thought, you know, when you drop something and it goes under the seat of the car, I've often thought, I wish Donald Trump was in here and he'd have this out in a jiffy.
That would be good.
Do you know, Donald's pinky would be very useful for the lint in my laptop.
Oh, that's a good, yeah.
Well, you remember that kid who got a Lego figure hand stuck up his nose? I think that could happen to Melania. Oh, clean that up a bit. See? Yeah. Breakfast radio version.
He also said, I mean, I have to say, I thought KJ was coming, girlfriend's thirsty.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, play it a bit.
Playing
cool.
a bit Coulsdon.
Oh, no.
Just a Coulsdon boy.
Yeah, what's
real
wrong?
Coulsdon.
Oh, I feel sick.
Paraphrase a bit of West Side Story for you all.
No, he's a bit too much, isn't he?
He says at one point, every minute we shared 103 days ago in Hanoi was a moment of glory that remains a precious memory. I mean, when you're counting down the days like that, you're going, it's lunacy.
I don't like.
It's lunacy at that point.
I worry about him. He's leaving himself very vulnerable.
But to be fair to Donald J. Trump, he didn't reply saying anything like, "Look, mate, I'm just not that into you." He played the game back. And
he said, "I remember the swish of your slightly short, baggy trousers as we walked across the. I can still hear that.
The circumference of KJ's trousers. That's what they have in common, Frank.
Is that right?
Yeah, the boot cut, wide legged
of course.
trousers.
Yeah. Very important to have a bonding moment for them. I thought there was a certain amount of beauty in the whole thing.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
there is.
Sorry, I'm just okay. These some of the haircut reviews, Frank.
Oh, okay. Well, non-haircut.
Someone said, when Ocado substitute your Nick Rhodes from Duran Duran with a Michael Fabricant.
Who is that?
He's the Tory MP.
Oh, I know, yes. The one who doesn't wear a wig.
Well, it's worrying that I had to say he's the Tory MP and you went, I know, as soon as because of the hair reference.
Yeah, it's gone a bit blonde as well. It looks like I've sun-inned, and I don't know how that's happened.
You know, I think you're being very hard on yourself. I think you can carry it off because you have a very youthful skin.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Maybe just some product in the hair. Is that what you're thinking, Emily?
I'm thinking a bit more than that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's a few bits of it, but you know what? You're right, Al. Your hair's looking great, Al.
Okay, thank you.
I
don't like it, but it's nice that you do.
Mine has become like a staring contest now. How long can I go without getting it properly done professionally and just leaving it?
Do you want me to book someone to come?
Oh no, I hate that.
Okay. Hate the cost.
It would be Guy, and who's the guy? It was somebody and Guy, Tony and Guy. Yeah, they'd turn up. Can we return to the Donald Trump letters? There's a thing in there that I'd have thought hair might have given you a bit of a segue. There's a bit in there that I've got a real appetite for. Not politically,
Well, he's got a real appetite for everything, KJ.
As we know, I'm increasingly drawn to just contrarians. They're so much more fun than everybody else. But get this for contrarian. Donald Trump on Barack Obama. He's highly overrated.
Overrated?
And then he said, I don't think he's a great speaker, which is what everybody says about Obama, is that he's a great speaker, he's a great public orator. Yeah. That is contrarianism that I haven't seen since Frank disliked Hamilton. But that was from the heart. Well, so is Donald Trump, I think. I think on that one. I think that I see that Trump is he's the sort of Greg Proops improvising type guy, isn't right?
Whereas I think Obama is working with written, crafted material. Yeah, that's the difference. It's not as good. And obviously there's going to be a bit of shortfall, but when the improviser gets gold, they really get they get gold. That's true. It takes courage. I remember a review of when I used to do a thing called Unplanned with David Baddiel, which was an improvised show. I remember. And the reviewer said, I like the jokes, but I also quite enjoy that moment in between the trapeze. Oh, yes. Yeah. Are they going to get... So there's a bit of that in a Trump speech, which you don't really get with... Did you notice Kim Jong-un's sign-off when he has finished the letter? Much obliged. No, before that, it says at the bottom. No.
I bet he did. Well,
Thank you, driver.
He says back to Coulsdon. He says... Yours in sport. He says, Chairman, State Affairs Commission, Democratic People's Republic of Korea. And fair play to him for not putting sarcastic quotes around democratic there.
Yeah, but he's earned those titles fair and square. How dare you?
He is fair and square.
with those voluminous palazzo pants.
Can I just, sorry, I'm getting the fares pressure.
Sorry.
But I wrote down a thing that was in the Daily Mail because there was a couple of things that Kim said, and this is how they said it. It said blah blah blah. I think about holding your hands. It said the despot wrote to Trump, and then it was a fabulous blah blah blah. Daily Mail, according to the dictator. I thought, it's one of those things, you do one bad thing and people just go on and on about it.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
We were talking about the letters between Donald J. Trump and Kim Jong-un.
The whole world will certainly once again come to see, not so far in the future, another historic meeting between myself and Your Excellency, reminiscent of a scene from a fantasy film.
Is this you talking to Frank, or is this reading a letter?
Well, the sentiment remains, but fantasy film?
Is there any pictures of the actual letters? I'm guessing that Kim Jong-un writes on pale blue Basildon bond, lined writing paper with a fountain pen. And what I'd love most of all is to see the envelope, and it's got one of those Par Avion stickers on it.
I think, sadly, I think the truth is that Woodward dictated them, didn't he? I think he was reading them and said them into a record.
So he doesn't have the...
I think. I might be wrong.
What about when... I appreciate this isn't the worst deed of KJ's, but what about when he said he learnt to drive when he was 3?
Did he say that?
Yeah, he tells strange lies.
Well, he might have done.
Fibber.
If he wanted to drive when he was 3.
Yes, I can't imagine anyone saying no, Kim.
Oh, man, imagine someone goes into the back of your car and you get out. Right, what kind of a... Oh. And there's little Kim, as it were. Little Kim.
Do you think he's...
there.
I wonder if he had... I like the idea of him wearing those small suits, because as we've said, he does favour the... it's not just a wide inside leg, the circumference of the hem. You could get a sort of 18-wheeler truck in there.
Yeah.
And Donald does favour the boot cut himself. They've both eschewed the tapered seam.
Although you put on your Twitter, I noticed a picture of him in Cindy boots.
Yes, Donald likes to.
I'll tell you the general overview of this, though. It's a thing that I've spoken to my partner about on many times. They met, and obviously they officially got on very well.
They clicked,
together.
They clicked.
And the amount of times I've been out with Kat to a friend's house, we've had a nice night, and we leave, and Kat said, look, it was a really brilliant night. Thank you so much. I've had such a great time. And then I get in the car and I'm driving, and she sends a text saying, that was brilliant. It was a really great night. I had a great time. And she texts it. And I say, well, you just said that to him before you left. And she says, oh...
Can I say...
This is what's happened here, isn't it? They've said all that stuff and then they've put it right...
But I've got to be honest, those texts that Kath sent, I remember those, and it is a very charming, well-mannered thing to do, Frank. I love getting those texts.
Said it.
Yes, but it's lovely. It's very thoughtful. It's
did you at any point
follow-up.
Did you at any point say to her when she said, I've had a great evening, did you ever say, well, that's all very well, but I wouldn't mind getting that in writing?
No.
Okay, exactly.
But I think what Emily's saying is that Donald J. Trump and Kim Jong-un are thoughtful.
Well, they're famed for it.
Yeah, I know.
Of course.
Yeah.
But imagine sitting around talking about the uncle execution. I mean, it's awful. What kind of a... I'd have changed the subject, wouldn't you? I don't want to hear about that, Kim, for goodness sake. What say we nip to that Cajun down the road?
What about when Kim said he hopes that everyone's dream will become a beautiful reality? It's like one of those Instagram boards,
also
putting up pictures of clouds.
That
Come
troubles
on,
me,
mate.
because you want to know who's in the room before you say everyone's dream could become a reality. Like, some people have pretty weird dreams where they're playing ping pong with their ex-headmaster or something.
Yeah, I don't want to be...
I don't want that to be
naked
reality.
on the toilet on a bus.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want that to come true. I'm hoping I got about 10 years before that happens.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I have an announcement I'd like to make.
All right.
Kim Jong-un and I,
Yeah.
fingers crossed. Thursday was a very special day for our boy Al. Do you know why?
What?
His book was out.
Oh.
The Frank Skinner
The book's on there.
How to Enjoy Poetry.
Can you believe it?
I had pre-ordered it on my Kindle.
Ah, God bless you, Governor.
It came straight in. Oh, I read it. I devoured it. I ate it up. And I can honestly say it is absolutely... Do you want to do a drum roll, Al?
I feel too stiff with stress, actually, but yeah.
Phenomenal.
Oh, good.
Oh, I could still see the penalty shootout against Germany there for a second.
And do you know, I know my way around a poem or two. It taught me things about poetry I didn't get from university. I didn't even get from my dad.
Oh,
so, Frank, I want to thank you. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm very proud of you.
Oh, I don't know what to say.
Well, thanks would be nice.
Thank you. Very kind. Very nice of you. I
that
appreciate it.
moment of feedback reminded me of drama school when we had a director that used to say, "You do that terribly well."
Wow.
Oh, could you just say,
Oh, no.
do it well?
No,
Awful.
it's so painful, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, not to me, to other people. that
No,
were good at
obviously.
acting.
Oh,
And
come
Frank,
on.
Lovely cover, dear.
I didn't do the cover.
Oh.
Yeah, but people like it.
Today, the cover.
Yeah.
But I've always found, and I know this is a bit of a off,
You're not good.
left field thing. I don't think you can actually judge them.
Oh, but you can.
Oh.
They do, though.
Yes, you can. At the Folio Society, that do all those really beautiful books.
Yeah.
You can do it there.
Yeah.
Try that.
So I was going to bring it in for you to sign, but unfortunately...
Selco! It's where the trade go.
How can you sign it on a Kindle
Well, that's the
book?
problem.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, I don't
a
know.
Sharpie.
Yeah.
Just
fat
think I'll be
sharp.
signing your whole book collection in one go.
Just why don't you write in a Pat Sharpie across my laptop screen?
Sharpie.
There we go.
Anyway, thank you for
Respect.
your loyalty.
Respect.
That was very good. Oh, dear. I always think if you tune into this show late, you must think, what are they laughing at? The stitch backs to back references to. It's like a fabulously worked tapestry.
And you reckon?
Yeah.
And you know what, Frank? I
Not
think
every link.
Claire Osborne,
In fact, 3. Sorry.
one of our readers, Claire Osborne, I think has given one of the loveliest reviews of your hair, which is perfection is overrated.
I think that's true. I am like the Islamic rug maker. I leave my hair as a looking like this to prove that only God is perfect.
Certainly quite a carpet you've got up there.
Now look here. Well, you give with one hand,
Oh, yeah.
take away with the other. It's what they're like, Al, isn't it? Hey? It's what they're like.
Keeping a dignified silence on that one.
It's where the trade go.
I'll leave you gentlemen to talk about me whilst I go to the other room.
We might be billiards and cigars. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I remember having a cigar at Jonathan Ross's house and being sick
How
in
was
his
it?
toilet. Ooh.
Did
How
you?
do people do it?
Does Donald J. Trump like a cigar?
Don't know.
I'd be amazed if he didn't.
Don't
I
think
imagine
so.
he's quite terrible people.
Maybe.
He wouldn't like smoking at Mar-a-Lago.
What?
Mar-a-Lago, that's his... you look genuinely horrified.
I don't know what that
That's
was.
his Miami hotel
I thought it was
compound.
a Bond villain. So, what was he called? Emil Largo was he called?
Oh, yes.
Don't
No,
know.
you're absolutely right, yeah.
Anyway, we can sit here all day talking about Bond villains, but life goes on. Thank you so much for listening this morning. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.